You take me home and give me wings to fly. We can be alone in a castle in the sky. We can run away and leave this world behind. Please just take me home.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Storybook Crochet. Today I've got the sweetest little fall project for you, a candy corn baby hat. This adorable crochet hat is perfect for Halloween, fall photos, or just keeping your little one cozy. I've included 3 different sizes, preemie, 0 to 3 month, and 3 to 6 months, so you can make the perfect fit for your baby or as a gift. For this project, you'll need worsted weight 4 yarn in 3 colors. I am using an off-white, an orange, and a yellow, but you can use like a brighter white, orange, and yellow if you're wanting the brighter look for your candy corn hat. I will also be using an H hook, and this is a US 5.0 millimeter hook. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle so that we can weave in the ends. And that's all you'll need to make this sweet little candy corn hat. We'll begin at the top of the hat and work our way down through each color section to create the classic candy corn look. So we will start with our white yarn. Rounds 1 through 6 will be worked exactly the same for all 3 sizes. After that, I'll show you where the pattern changes depending on the size that you're making. So we are going to start with a magic ring, and to make this magic ring, you're just going to lay the end of your yarn over 3 fingers, and then you're going to wrap around, crossing over the top. Once you have that crossed over, you're going to take your hook, go underneath the bottom yarn, and grab the top piece, pulling up a loop. Once that loop's on your hook, you're going to hold that on with your thumb and pull the ring off your fingers. And then you're just going to hold that and you're going to chain. And that one chain will help to secure that ring for you. So our pattern does start off with a total of 2 chains. So we're going to make 1 more. So you'll have 2 chains total. Now that we have our ring secure, we're going to make 5 double crochets in our ring. So to make a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the ring. You're going to be going under both lengths of yarn there. Yarn over and pull up your loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. And that is our first double crochet. And throughout this pattern, our chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So round number 1 will have a total of 5 double crochets. Once you have your 5 double crochets in your ring, you're just going to take that end tail there and you're going to pull on that tightly, closing that opening. And then to finish off round number 1, we're going to slip stitch to the very first double crochet that we made. So we're not going to slip stitch into the chain, but into the first double crochet. So you'll find that first one and insert your hook, grab your yarn and pull that through the stitch and through the loop on your hook. And that secures round number 1. And then you'll just kind of want to pop the tip out so that the right side is facing out. All right, moving on to round 2, we are going to chain 2, and you're going to do this at the beginning of every round. So for round number 2, we are going to double crochet increase around, and this just means we're going to put 2 double crochets in every stitch around. So I always start mine in the very same stitch as my slip stitch and my chain. So go ahead and make your first double crochet in that same stitch. And then you're going to put 1 more double crochet in that stitch. And then you're just going to continue adding 2 double crochets in each stitch around for a total of 10 double crochets for round number 2. So now we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to the first double crochet of the round, and this is something that you will do with every single round. And then you're going to make your chain of 2, and we're going to move on to round number 3. So for round number 3, we're going to start out by making 1 double crochet in our first stitch. And then we're going to make a double crochet increase in the second stitch. So put your 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And then you're simply going to repeat that pattern around. So 1 double crochet and then an increase. And this is going to give you a total of 15 double crochets at the end of round number 3. For round 4, we're going to start off by doing the exact same pattern that we did for round number 3. So you're going to put 1 double crochet in the first stitch, and then you're going to increase in the second stitch. And you're going to do this a total of 7 times. At the end of this round, you will have 1 stitch left, and you're just going to put 1 double crochet in that very last stitch. And this is going to give you a total of 22 double crochets at the end of round number 4. Now that we have our first 4 rounds done, if you are making the preemie size hat, you are going to change your yarn to orange, and I'll show you a quick tutorial on how to change your yarn if you're not familiar with that. To change your yarn color, you're going to take your hook after your last stitch is made and insert it into the very first stitch from the round. So just like you're going to do to finish off the round, but instead of finishing it off, stick that in there and then go ahead and cut a shorter tail of the color you have been working with. And then you'll just grab your next color and you're going to use your hook to just pull that through like a normal slip stitch. And then you'll go ahead and make your chain of 2. All right, now moving on to round number 5. And again, the next 2 rounds are the same for every hat size. So for round 5, we're going to start out by making 2 double crochets. So you're going to put 1 double crochet in the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then in our third stitch we'll make our increase. So just like you were doing in the last round, except this time you're doing 2 double crochets and then an increase. So again, you're going to repeat that around for a total of 7 times, and at the very end of this round you'll have 1 stitch left and you'll put 1 double crochet in that very last stitch. And this is going to give us a total of 29 double crochets for round number 5. Now that we have finished round number 5, if you are doing the 0 to 3 month size hat, you're going to go ahead and switch to your orange yarn. If you are doing the 3 to 6 month size, we have 1 more round with the white. All right, so now moving on to round 6, we are going to do 3 double crochets. So 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And then in our 4th stitch, we will make our increase. So just like before, you're going to repeat that pattern around. So again, that's 3 double crochets and then increase for a total of 7 times. And just like before, at the end of this round, you will have 1 stitch left. You're just going to put 1 double crochet in that last stitch. And this is going to give us a total of 36 single crochets for round number 6. All right, now the 3 to 6 month size, you will go ahead and switch to your orange yarn. At this point, after round 6 is complete, if you are doing the preemie size, you are going to go ahead and move on to part 2 of the video. For the other 2 sizes, we will continue on with the next round. Moving on to round number 7, this time we are going to do 4 double crochets and then increase. So put your 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. After your 4 are complete, you'll make your increase. And same instructions as for the last couple rounds, so make your 4 double crochets and increase 7 times around, and then you'll have the 1 stitch left at the end. You'll put 1 double crochet in that last stitch, and for round number 7 we are going to have a total of 43 double crochets. If you are making the 0 to 3 month size, you can move on to part 2. For the 3 to 6 month size, we have 1 more round to go. All All right, for round number 8 for the 3 to 6 month size, we are going to be doing the exact same type of pattern. This time we're just going to make 5 double crochets. Then you will make your increase, and again a total of 7 times around, putting 1 double crochet in that last stitch after your last increase is made. And for this round you should have a total of 50 double crochets made. All right, now that we've got the first section finished, we're ready to move on to part 2. In this section, we will continue shaping the main part of our hat. All right, so moving on, the next round will be the same for every single hat size that we're making. So for this round, you're just gonna put 1 double crochet in every stitch around. So we are done making our increases for our hats. So again, that's just 1 double crochet in every stitch around, and then you'll just join like normal at the end. And this is going to be a different stitch count for each of our hat sizes, so I'll add that up to the screen so you can see how many double crochets you need for this round. So the rest of our main rounds for the hat are exactly the same as the last one we just did. So you're going to just double crochet 1 in each stitch around for each of your rounds, but this is going to be a different number of rounds for each size of hat. So I'm just going to add the written instructions up on the screen for each size, and this will also include which round you need to change your color to your yellow in. So again, that's going to be a different round for each size, so I will add that into the instructions for each size, so you'll just follow along with that, and then we will all move on to part number 3 together.
Take me home.
Now that we've finished all those rounds for each size, it's time to move on to part number 3, and this we will be making the finishing edge, so you can see that in this hat here. This step will be the same no matter which size you are making, so everyone can follow along together. Alright, so you will join the last round like normal, and then you're just going to chain 1 this time, and we are going to single crochet around. But we're going to be doing this in the back loop only. So normally when you make your stitch, you go under both loops of each stitch at the same time. This time we're going to go in between the 2 loops and just go underneath that back loop to make every single stitch around. So you're going to go ahead and make your first single crochet in that back loop only of our first stitch. And then you're just going to keep working those around, just making sure you're working in that back loop only for every single stitch of this round. Alright, so that was the very last round of our hats, and I am going to show you now how to do a seamless join so that it looks like the stitches just continue on the very last edge of our hat here. So just kind of pull out that loop a little bit, and you're going to go ahead and cut a tail here. It doesn't need to be too long. And then instead of slip stitching like normal to join the end of that round, you're going to take that length of yarn and just pull it back through the stitch. Just kind of pull on that until it comes back out. And then you're going to grab your yarn needle. And then the next step is we're going to find the second stitch from the beginning of the round. So we're going to skip the first stitch and then go into the second stitch, going under both loops of that stitch. And you're going to pull that end through. And then we're going to come back to the very last stitch that we made. And this time we're going to go under that back loop only, just like we did with this previous round. And you're going to pull that through. And that kind of creates a last stitch there, so it looks like they're all the same. Once that's done, you're going to go ahead and weave that end in. So I just come up a few rows here on the inside of your hat, and then I just go back and forth through that row a few times just to secure that end really good, and then you'll just cut that off. And then your next step, you're going to want to turn your hat inside out and do the same thing with all of the ends from the different colors of yarn that you have switched to. So get all of your ends weaved in after you're finished with this one. And that's it. Your candy corn baby hat is all finished. I hope you had fun making this sweet little project with me. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss more crochet patterns and tutorials. I'd also love to see your finished hats, so feel free to tag me on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching and happy crocheting.
Won't you take me home? Give me wings to fly. We can run away. Castle in the sky. Won't you take me